Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is the Papa Joe Show where Papa Joe knows. I am your host, Papa Joe. Thank you all for being here today. We're going to take a look at the US Treasury and how they are legitimately losing their minds over cryptocurrency and decentralized finance. Apparently, it's a national security threat because, oh, I don't know, we the people don't need them anymore, and it makes them very concerned, evidently. So, we're going to dig into that a little bit today. Also, some other fun news that is coming down the pipe that I think everybody will agree with and have some fun with that will completely circumvent the need for the Federal Reserve, Fed now system, and everything else entirely. And it does tie into cryptocurrency and precious metals. Also, I had a few people reach out to me around some stuff in the Apple devices range. A lot of people know I've been in the Apple engineering slash whatever support management of Apple devices for many, many years now. And they were like, hey, is this true? And it's like, yep, it's true. All right. And there are some interesting theories around what is going on around there. It's just all theories, theoretical, but not fun stuff. So stick around to the end for that little tidbit. Because that's kind of a very interesting theory that I could actually see happening. So yeah. Anyways, other things to think about this weekend. Please remember, this is Resurrection Weekend. This is Resurrection Day. This is not happy-go-lucky bunnies who lay eggs somehow, whatever. Yes, it's all fine and fun and good and whatnot, but just remember, this is when Christ. We celebrate him dying for us, for our sins, for our things that we cannot do on our own. It is a gift that he gave to us that we do not deserve. You can choose to accept or deny that, but the outcomes will be significantly different in the end. Choose wisely. I say that all the time. Choose wisely. And then use your time wisely whenever you make those decisions. Anyways, but I digress. Check out the links in the description of the video. Join the Patreon if you want to support me and the things that we're doing. I try to provide content on the Patreon that is more gloves off type of stuff. So, and if it makes sense, I have had a few interviews that I've been able to do on there that I'm not moving off of there, mainly because of what we talked about. So, anyways, definitely check out that Patreon. It's a cup of coffee, guys. I'm not some of these guys out there charging, $30-$50 for a daggum membership to what, right? It just it's literally not even a cup of coffee anymore. I mean, it's what. Anyways, thank you all for being part of that. It does mean a lot to me. It helps me run this stuff. It's great. I love it. Fantastic cup of coffee this morning. Afternoon now. Sorry. Anyhow, let's jump into this, shall we? If my system will work for me. There we go. U.S. Treasury Department deems decentralized finance, or DeFi, a national security threat, just like they did with Bitcoin, just like they did with Ethereum, just like they wanted to send the SEC after everybody and anybody who wasn't someone that they liked, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So this is something that they're freaking out about it because with DeFi, they are not needed. Finance in America has been riddled with fractional reserve banking and legit money printing out of thin air. So if you're wondering why they're freaking out about this, because this literally is the way I like to look at DeFi. We'll come back here. DeFi can be a lot of different things, but the easiest example for me to explain is instead of going to a bank where you borrow money from the bank to buy whatever you're going to go buy, you're going to make payments. You agree upon your interest rates. You agree upon um, the monthly payment you're going to pay back, the term, the length of time that you're going to have that paid back, etc. Right? Okay, great, fantastic. In a DeFi environment, it is folks who have excess, and instead of keeping it in a savings account, or in a staking account where you're earning 10-20% or more in some cases, depends on the platform, depends on the project. Let's go with what is it? Let's go with Matic. I think it's like 4 or 5%. Okay, so in 4 or 5% per year in the token. Fantastic. Well, if you wanted to spread the risk around for your holdings, so to speak, you could get into a DeFi platform where, let's say that DeFi platform is designed for creating financial instruments for people to buy homes. Okay. Well, if instead of being a landlord and managing a property, you could effectively take the same type of investment, put it into a DeFi platform, let that money get used for other people to buy homes, apartments, complexes, commercial properties, and then you just sit back and reap the rewards of that as it comes back to you. And if you needed to pull your money out, you could pull it out if you needed to. I'm sure there would be some stipulation around that, but think about a big, huge pool of cash that then gets people come to withdraw from, and then as they withdraw from it, they have to pay that back. And over time, if your money is used, you get a set percentage rate indefinitely until you need to pull your money out. Kind of makes sense where the people get the money back. They earn an income off of lending their money. It makes sense. Instead of going to a centralized place where we have to pay back that interest and they make money off of lending us money out of thin air. It's a racket. It's the biggest scam in history. And that yet it's just the way that stupid system works. Fractional reserve banking, the Federal Reserve, that's how it all works. Just take those types of things, turn it around, and let it be the people who put their money in. And guess what happens? The people get paid back. The people earn their interest. The people help each other. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to bump that. We support each other and make money at the same time. Genius idea. That's how I look at DeFi. There's a lot of other ways to do it. There's a lot of other different pieces of puzzle that you could do with it. But that's just one simple use case of DeFi. Let's see. Cool stuff there. So the US Treasury is freaking out because they are not needed anymore with decentralized finance. So they come over here and they talk about these different pieces. Poor cybersecurity practices within the decentralized finance or DeFi industry present a threat to crypto consumers and national security, according to a new report from the United States Treasury Department. Poor cybersecurity practices. Really? So the Pentagon, who is supposed to be one of the most secure networks in the world, lost $2 trillion. So secure. So secure. Just vanished. Yeah. It's pot calling the kettle black, all right? Anyhow, the first of its kind document argues that DeFi, peer-to-peer nature, represents new illicit finance risks that require extra legal supervision to address. It sure sounds like the babysitter has lost control of the kids and they're running rampant and they can't control them. And the babysitter is sitting in a corner crying because they can't control the people anymore. This is some of the topics that they point out here. The risk of DeFi, released on Thursday, the 2023 DeFi Illicit Finance Risk Assessment, details how cyber criminals, scammers, and other illicit actors are abusing the DeFi ecosystem to launder money like they did through FTX. Through systems that fail to implement proper sanctions, oh boy, and anti-money laundering controls. People don't want to be controlled. Now, the illicit part, I'm not for that. Nobody is. No one wants to get hurt. No one wants to see anyone get hurt. But if you sit there and hear people talk about these guys are freaking out. This is like a freak out moment. There have been several instances of actors, including ransomware actors. Yep, that happens with regular dollars too. Thieves, regular dollars too. Scammers, regular dollars too. And drug traffickers, regular dollars big time, using DeFi services to transfer and launder their illicit proceeds. The report claimed. Guys and gals, this is a true, actual freakout moment for them. From another source here, U.S. Treasury report warns DeFi's threat to national security. Actors conclude fiat is used in illicit finance more than crypto. Yes, authors, conclude it is. This is a perspective of where I was coming from 2 seconds ago. The dollar is. Fiat is used in more illicit finance than anything else. The U.S. Treasury has released a 42-page report assessing the risk of decentralized finance, or DeFi. The report states that specific nation state adversaries, cybercriminals, ransomware attacks, thieves, and scammers are using DeFi to transfer and launder their illicit proceeds. Well, you're the slaves and you can't make money in other ways. I'm not for the cybercriminal ransomwares, blah, 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 blah. Legitimately, if you're a cybercriminal and you're doing ransomware attacks and you're stealing people's money or you're scamming, doing it on a blockchain is the stupidest thing you could do. Actual stupidest thing you could do. Reason being is because the blockchain doesn't lie. It is forever. It is an open transaction for the most part. There are other platforms that are significantly more difficult to find where a transaction went, mixers, things like that. Those types of things are in the process of being cracked open. Put it that way. Nothing is private, anywhere, everywhere. Into this to the standpoint of even no matter if your device has people don't want to be tracked. They do all these things to their phones and the laptops or desktops to try not to be tracked. It doesn't matter. For years, I didn't want to do a YouTube show because I didn't want my face out there, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? It actually doesn't matter. No matter how hard you try, the hardware pieces inside of the devices, it doesn't matter. You can de-Google a phone. No, you can't. You can get them to not track you. No, you actually can't. Being in technology, I know this is... It doesn't even matter if the device has power. It can still be tracked. But anyways, this argument is null and void. It was DOA, dead on arrival. It does not have legs. The report, woohoo! The rest of us in the crypto world are going, no. And then they're trying to scare the normies not to touch it. Don't touch it, don't touch it, don't touch it. It's bad. The amount of arguments I've had with people about cryptocurrency and how it's fake, it's going away. If it was fake and going away, why would the U.S. Treasury claim it's a national security threat? If it's a threat, it's not going anywhere. It's a real problem to them. It's a problem to them because they can't control it. And I'm sitting here just laughing. Just laughing. I am. Oh, let's see here. So yeah, the U.S. Treasury report assesses risk associated with decentralized finance. Yep. So the author here eventually puts it over more over money laundering, proliferation finance, and terrorist financing is most commonly occur using fiat currency and other traditional assets rather than virtual assets. The reporter's authors conclude the reason they conclude that is because on a blockchain it is not private. If I want to see if I see somebody, there are lots of roadblocks you can put in place, and it makes it harder and stumbling blocks. It makes it harder to find things. There's lots of things you can do to deter somebody tracing it. But if someone really wanted to, it's a blockchain, it's open, anyone and everyone can see what you're doing if they have your wallet address. If they have your wallet address, they can see what they can all they got to do is trace backwards. Find the wallet that it came from, find the wallet that it went to, what happened in the middle, you can see all of it. If there are bad actors doing things on a blockchain, Bitcoin is an example, Ethereum, Litecoin, whatever, it is wide open. You have some level of an anonymity. I can never say that word. But it is still somewhat traceable. And if you have the right tools, you can actually find the IP addresses and you can find out where the GPS locations are and you can actually find out where they are. It's if they really wanted to find out where that was or where you are or whatever, it's not impossible with blockchain technology. That's one of the things that was so comical about the FTX stuff, guys. They paid themselves and paid each other and paid their buddies and their pals and they did all the stuff that they did using blockchain. And they thought no one would find it or figure it out. Legit, y'all, that is like stupidity at its finest. There are platforms, there are cryptos out there that are specifically set up for private transactions. I mean, Litecoin has a feature, you just flip a switch effectively, and the transaction you send is not traceable. And that's for privacy. It is. We, the people, should be able to do what we want to do with our money without anyone reaching into our back pocket, taking their little cut, because it's not a dollar. They can't take their cut. And that's why they're so angry. That's why they're so freaked out. It's comical to me. It actually makes me laugh. Cryptocurrency in a whole stops them dead in their tracks. This is the end of their system. It really is. It is comical to me. All of this comes out, by the way. I need to blow this up for you guys so you can see it a little better. All of this comes out at the same time that there's a presidential hopefuls, I guess you could say. One of them is officially running. The other one hasn't announced yet. DeSantis, to my knowledge, has not announced that he's running for president. I actually kind of wonder if he's purposely not doing that for whatever. Anyways, but Robert F. Kennedy Jr. did announce that he's running. By the way, that's a funny topic. He announced as a Democrat. To challenge Flashbang. That was funny. And y'all know what he's talking about and what he's been about. I actually laughed when I saw that he's running as a Democrat. That's perfect. They're using the tactics of. They're just taking. Anyways. Mm-mm-mm. So this little ABC or CA, whatever, CSB, what is this stupid article? Who is this? NBC News states that DeSantis, who is a advocate against the CBDCs, which is great. The dude's got a lot of explaining to do from other reasons. If he just come out and explain things and explain why he's partnering with things, Soros backed him. I don't like him just because of that. Okay. Anyways, let's see. So they misconstrue the Fed's digital plans in warning of government overreach, just like Ted Cruz came out. We can't have CBDCs. It's programmable money. Florida's GOP governor and the anti-vaccine activists. Oh, they had to point that in there, except the fact that he, in his initial documents for all of that stuff, signed things that included forced vaccinations. But I don't know what the heck happened there. Maybe he changed his mind, but he needs to come out and say why and what he did. If he just comes out and tell everyone, I think people will be a little more different. But there's some bad things I found out about him. I'm not talking about it on the show here. But anyways, they both seen as potential 2024 presidential candidates, mischaracterized by the two Federal Reserve proposals as efforts to restrict Americans' purchases. And it can and it will. This is very, very interesting here, and this is one of the reasons I'm going to say another angle here. As the Federal Reserve looks to modernize banking, why? We already did without them. Anyhow, two potential 2024 presidential candidates have accused the central bank of seeking to use a proposed digital dollar to control Americans' finances. Although the Fed officials have committed to no such plans. The thing is, by the nature of what it is exactly what they're saying. DeSantis alleged last week that the Fed made U.S. digital dollar would let the government block transactions, which it could and can be done, like buying a rifle or filling up with too much gas. Yeah, just like I've been saying. Now you have the actual governor of a state of this country saying the same thing. Because they understand fundamentally at its core, it is a program. It is software. It can be changed. it can be controlled. The reason why Bitcoin and Litecoin and Ethereum and things like Divi make so much sense is because it's been launched to the world. It is open sourced. It cannot be turned off now. It can't be shut down. He added, speaking at a Pennsylvania conference on Saturday, they are going to try to impose an ESG agenda, referring to private sector policies aimed at advancing environmental, social, and governance principles, which conservative lawmakers across the country have been pushing to curb. It's a creed. It is seated in power over financial freedom to a central bank which does not have our interest at heart at all. The Republican governor, who has widely floated as a potential primary rival for Donald Trump, has introduced legislation in Florida seeking to ban the use of any Fed-issued digital currency in the state, and has called on other states to do the same. I believe Texas has done that as well. Pretty sure Texas is going to be the central of finance in the United States at some point. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. Texas lawmakers introduce bills to create digital currency backed by gold. Now, it's only going to work if it's open sourced and open to everybody. I have not read the bills. I think that the bills need to be open to everyone to read, which I think they are. I just haven't read them yet. The Texas House and State recently, the Texas House and Senate have recently introduced bills that would establish a state-issued gold-backed digital currency. Okay, interesting. So in Texas, you can have a digital currency that's backed by gold, and you could use it to buy whatever you want in the state. But outside of the state, it probably won't work. Now, if that happens, sounds an awful lot like some interesting things in our past, doesn't it? The outlet added, enactment of this legislation would create an option for people to transact business and in sound money, set a stage to undermine the Federal Reserve's monopoly on money, and create a viable alternative to a central bank digital currency. The problem is if it is a CBDC, is it a state issued? The state's treasury, like the Constitution says it's supposed to be? Interesting. On March 10th, Republican Senator Brian Hughes proposed Senate Bill 2334, SB 2334. On the same day, a similar bill in the House, Bill HB 4903, was submitted by Republican Representative Mark Dorazio, whatever. According to the proposed law, the state comptroller must issue a digital currency that is fully backed by gold and fully redeemable in cash or gold. The comptroller would also be responsible for developing a system for regularly transacting in with this digital currency guaranteed by gold. In establishing the digital currency, the comptroller should establish a means to ensure that a person who holds the digital currency may readily transfer or assign the digital currency to any other person by electronic means. That actually kind of sounds like it would work. Quoting here, the trustee shall maintain enough gold to provide for the redemption in gold of all the units in the digital currency that have been issued and are not yet redeemed for money or gold. So in other words, it will be 100% one-to-one backed by gold. That's a big deal, y'all. Challenging the Federal Reserve. So the Treasury's freaking out because of DeFi. And you have a whole state issuing a legal platform to have a gold-backed digital currency that will most likely, if it goes through, become the national. I told you, Texas will probably end up being the central hub for all things banking related, finance related in the United States. Would not be surprised, y'all. I would not be surprised. So, anyways, keep an eye on that one. Last little thing I wanted to point out here. There are some people who are wondering if Steve Jobs was Satoshi Nakamoto. That would be highly interesting. If you haven't noticed, this week there is the Bitcoin Manifesto or the Bitcoin White Paper that is actually hidden in all Apple operating systems on the Mac devices since 2018. And I have verified it is there. Very, very interesting Easter egg, if you ask me. Why would Apple hide a Bitcoin Manifesto? Interesting conversation. It is fueling theories that Steve Jobs was Satoshi Nakamoto. Steve Jobs died in 2011. If he launched this in 2008, that would make sense as he just disappeared. Lots of things. Lots of things. Oh, but Craig Wright has already come out and said that Apple is infringing on copyright. Except Craig Wright cannot prove that he is, in fact, Satoshi Nakamoto. I'm going to do some digging on this because it is very interesting to me that I want to know what the relationship between Steve and Craig were. That would be interesting. But anyhow, I'll just read these things. Technologist Andy Baio wrote this week that he discovered a PDF of the original Bitcoin white paper on his Mac. The revelation fueled theories connected Steve Jobs to the mysterious author of the paper, Satoshi Nakamoto. Baio said Apple appears to have hid the Bitcoin document in every copy of macOS since Mojave in 2018. Interesting. A couple years later, but that's extremely interesting. Being an Apple engineer, I never knew that was there. It was an accidental stumble. It was an accidental stumble upon that right there. He accidentally found it, and all of a sudden that hit the wire, and everybody's freaking out about it. It's actually pretty interesting. Who knows? Who knows? Was Steve Jobs? This is really Alark was very interesting on this. Was Steve Jobs actually Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin? Revelations that all Macs come with the Bitcoin white paper fueled speculation. It's all speculation. No one knows and no one can know and no one will know. Plus, Satoshi disappeared in December 2010, and then Jobs passed away in October 2011. The timelines fit. Again, speculation, but that would be interesting. Who knows? Because we can't know. But people close to him potentially could know. Again, Craig Wright's relationship with Steve Jobs, I would be curious to see what those dots are. Just, again, speculation. Checking the charts here towards the end of the show. Let's see, we've got Bitcoin hovering right under 28,000. The Dow is, I don't know how it's working anymore. NASDAQ, same thing. S&P 500, again, I don't even know. Gold is still up above $2,000. Silver is just under 25. It's very interesting. Divi is doing its thing. Looks like it might maybe be consolidating. Who knows right now? We shall see. We shall see. There is a live Twitter Spaces going on right now that I am missing because I am doing the show, and I thank you all for being part of it. Appreciate it. Who else we got here? We got Matic, which is bumping a tiny bit. Matic and Axie are very interesting projects. They're actually very interesting projects. It's going to be interesting for sure going forward. Who else we got here? Checking some of the banks. We got XRP. Yeah, SVP, they're gone. Let's see here. All right, cool. So as far as those are concerned, there you go. Let's go through, say hey to everybody. We've got Lithia. What's going on? And happy Easter to you as well. I like to say Resurrection Day, but that's just me personally. Evan, Fed thinks DeFi should be illegal because it gets around the Fed now system trap. 100%, bro. 100%. Trinity SS, good morning or good afternoon to you. I appreciate you being here today. Busy Mountain, what's up? I do appreciate that. And Busy Mountain, where's an easy place to stake Matic for or DeFi it? DeFi, I'm not sure, but the actual best platform to do that, hang on. Nope, wrong button. Is literally if I can pull it up without logging myself in. I'm gonna drop this in the live chat for you, sir. It is staking.polygon.technology. You log in, find a validator. There's a lot of them. Do your research on them. Okay. Find a good one. And then delegate to them. And that's that simple. And you start earning rewards. Your rewards calculator, like I said before, is right around 5%, right under 5%. The more you have, the more you do, the more you get back. Make sense? So hopefully that works for you, my friend. Appreciate you being here as always. We got Tom. What's going on, brother? Thanks for being part of the show today. Gloria, how are you? As always, thanks for being here. I do love it that y'all are here. It is fantastic. We got Larry Stevens in the house. What's going on, sir? It's good to see you. Thanks for being part of the show. I do appreciate it. And with that, y'all, the weekend is here. It is Good Friday. This afternoon, I will not be doing a Patreon show. I do appreciate those of you who are part of it. And we will see you all on Monday. Take it easy, be blessed, and have a fantastic, amazing, and hopefully restful weekend. Be blessed.